Welcome to
David
and Hector's
Retro Review.
Retro Review! We are at the Wrestling Guy Store, 6085 State Street, Huntington Park, California.
And phone number is 323-588-1204.
And you also got a website.
Yes, thewrestlingguystore.com, or you can find us at Wrestling Guy Store on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Today, we got the 1991 WWF Hasbro's The Rockers.
The Rockers.
Shawn Michaels, you push his upper body down and he flies, which makes great sense.
Right.
But Marty Jannetty, I was always confused, even as a kid. Why do his legs go up inside his body? Like, to me, it's not that it's weird, it's just, it's abnormal.
Yeah.
You know?
Poor Marty. No, he's in here too. He's right up there. Right above us.
There we go.
He's watching us while we talk crap.
Yeah. Oh, man. Sorry, it's not abnormal, it's cool.
It's cool.
Do you have any memories of this set here?
My brother bought this pack. He was a big Shawn Michaels fan. But I was more into Demolition. So I like seeing Demolition in the books.
But back then, you had the Demolition.
Brainbusters.
Brainbusters.
Yeah.
The Heart Foundation.
Yeah. Powers of Pain.
Powers of Pain.
The Rockers.
The Rockers.
Who else was there? The Orient Express.
Orient Express. Oh man, those guys, even though they kind of use them as jobbers, they were great wrestlers.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the Rockers, Orient Express.
That feud lasted, what, like a year, didn't it?
And they would come out, they would start the show a lot of times, so it got you rocking and rolling for it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think it might have been a SummerSlam or Survivor Series where it was the Rockers versus Power and Glory.
Yes, I remember Power and Glory.
And
Hercules and Paul Roma.
Paul Roma and Hercules and Marty Jannetty had to wrestle most of the match because Shawn Michaels had a legitimate knee injury. So they, in the middle of the match, they play it off that, oh, Shawn got hurt. Whatever, he was limping, running to the ring, you know, so you knew he was already hurt, but they just played it off in the ring. So Marty Jannetty gets to wrestle most of the match, and so he's in the match a lot with Paul Roma. And you see Paul Roma, and Marty Jannetty just picks his head up smiling, like laughing, like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And he takes over and he starts going to work on Paul Roma. We're talking so much about Marty Jannetty, are we forgetting Mr. WrestleMania here?
He didn't stand out as much to me back then. As
He didn't to you?
No, I thought Marty stood out.
Marty was the man.
I've never expected Shawn Michaels to break out on his own and be the star he was. I always thought Marty would be the guy. I thought Shawn Michaels would be the Marty Jannetty of the team.
As time wore on, I kind of started seeing Shawn a little more, especially when they started teasing the breakup.
Right.
And they had Shawn, I don't know if you noticed, like, I'm not trying to be, you know, I noticed he started growing out his chest hair.
Yeah.
Right? And I knew there's something happening.
Pay attention to detail.
I was a little kid glued to it.
When I was watching as a kid, the barbershop, because I was broken hearted, the biggest barber couldn't wrestle anymore. He started hosting the barbershop. And you know, of course, the most famous part when Shawn super kicks Marty right through the glass. I remember that really well, but the best part I remember is Bobby the Brain Heenan when he goes,
Oh, I knew he was going to do that. Jannetty tried to dive through the window to escape.
he kept flip-flopping and that. He's like, is it me or does he look like, Shawn Michaels look like John Laurinaitis? Kind of.
Yeah,
And like it's the WCW tag team they had.
The extreme guys with the skateboards.
Yeah, the radical dudes.
The one problem I had with these figures was knowing that both of them were thin.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, and the top tier guys, they were thin. They were smaller. When they came out, Marty Jannetty looks chunky. Shawn Michaels looks like he has the mumps. You know, I mean, they made him a little thinner, but still, it's just. They look like they weigh close to 300 pounds and not 180
even
pounds.
the Boss Man's a little thinner than they are.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is pretty bad.
I guess, you know, there was no other way to make them have a different type of body if they were going to give them that type of action. You know, but like you said, the Ravishing Rick Rude body would have been perfect.
Way better. Way better on Shawn and Marty.
Yeah, because even Marty, like, Marty doesn't have a neck. Shawn Michaels has somewhat of a neck. And they, you know, it's sort of visible only because of the hair.
Yeah.
But Marty, he's completely like, you know.
I don't know, there's something off with the faces on
Yeah.
these figures. I don't know
He
what it is.
kind of looks sort of like a Garbage Pail Kid.
Yeah. That's what it is. And I'm telling you, Shawn Michaels looks like John Laurinaitis. You go ahead.
No, I can't
Don't break
open
my
it.
heart. Okay, here we go. Actually, this is from where? Where is it from?
This is the
Spaniard version.
Spanish
right?
version, yes. And so it's rockeros. Everything, basically everything's the same. That's what I love about it.
Okay.
On eBay, you could try to get it a little cheaper just because it's not the American version.
we go. I'm gonna open this up. Taking my time here. Taking my time. Oh. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Smells good.
How you doing?
Hello. Okay, you get Marty.
All right.
No, I get Marty.
Oh, no. I want to figure out his little move here. So, like I said, his body goes, his legs go inside his body. Man, this is great.
Let's see how yours goes. Oh yeah.
Like my Marty Jannetty at home, his legs are pretty loose and wobbly because, you know, it's, what, almost 30 years old, 25 years old?
Let's see.
Come on, you can do better.
Try. Let's try one more time. There you go. I think I like the newer ones. Remember, we found out they made something different to make them spring.
Yeah.
Oh, his feet are a little more.
The feet
were more like rubber.
Now, as a kid, I was so frustrated, and this is probably why I probably started liking Shawn Michaels more, just because of the toy. I don't know if you guys ever had that if you ended up buying a toy, you were so happy with it, but then you found something you didn't like with it, and you're like, you kind of dislike that person just a little bit. Sort of like the WCW Diamond Dallas Page from Toy Biz. He looked so cool in the packaging. He was like this, doing his high five. You open them, you start squeezing the legs, and he starts doing this.
Yeah.
And then you realize that's all he does. So you couldn't really play with him. I mean, I shouldn't have been playing. I was already 18 years old. But
Maybe he's gonna do a spin-a-rooney. See?
See,
No wonder
then,
Shawn Michaels threw him through the window.
but then what I realized was, that's not his move. And this was like 20 years later, I figured out.
Alright, well, that's pretty cool, but let's see here. Oh, jeez. The botch.
It's this. It's the famouser, the rocker dropper.
This is why I only played on Sunday, by the way.
So it's basically a drop kick. Now that's pretty cheapy.
Okay.
From here.
Okay. Here we go.
Who gets out of the ring?
Ready?
1, 2, 3. We're about to break. He just barely got out of the package, and we're about to break.
We're gonna break him already.
No, but he's good. He's fine. Okay, he missed. But
Marty Jannetty sucks. This sucks. No wonder you became Marty Jannetty.
Because of the toy.
Because of the toy. They're like,
You could blame everything that happened to him, getting fired multiple times and all that stuff, because his toys just suck.
I'm gonna tag my tag team partner, Captain Marvelous. He's gonna take over for me. All right, let me go tag him.
Captain Marvelous.
Well, since you're the Marty Jannetty of the team, I'm the Leaf Cassidy.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, man.
David went on to headline WrestleMania and he has his career. Yes. Now we're both stuck here with toys. He has his own toy store. We have
I don't want to play no more. So Captain Marvelous actually has a great podcast called.
It's called I'm Batman, the podcast.
And he's here. He's gonna be Goldberg. Sean, this is one of the new retro Mattel figures, and of course this is.
Yeah, and I don't know if it'll show well on camera, but his feet are rubbery, so it does bend.
And there's also on Daddy Dollar Retro Review, we also reviewed this Goldberg figure. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What do you think from the actual retro to the new retro Mattel figures?
Well, the rubber feet add a lot to it, but I don't know. I'm just a stickler for the classics, like that weird chubby face, the stiff design. It's what I grew up with, so it's what I like. Yeah, it's much more functional, but it's just a case of we learned from what we did before. So
actually, these were made by Hasbro. These were made by Mattel. So it's like these guys. Let's learn from those other guys.
Yeah, so they learned from their designs. Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Now I want to buy some more Goldbergs and just have all of them springing away.
Yeah, you won't get as much lift from this guy. But you know, when you're a kid, it's always cool.
Here goes Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
So now that we open up the 1991 WWF Hasbro Rockers 2-pack, what do you guys have to say about it?
They're fine. I never really liked the Hasbro ones that had the legs fused. Because they always just felt like you couldn't really play much with them. You know, like my favorite was Bossman. This is the one toy I always loved as a kid. You move his hands, he got the waist. I mean, his knees don't bend, but it doesn't look as weird as these. Like I feel like these are just like that one move type of toys, which I've never liked.
Typical.
Yeah.
Do you like him more knowing that his name is El Poli Loco?
I would probably would like them less.
All right, David. What about you?
I'm not a fan of the toys.
You're not?
Not of the Rockers. I don't like the body. I don't like the heads. I don't like them. Especially Morty with the what was it called? The rocker dropper. The rocker dropper. I don't like it.
The whole with his legs going up inside him.
No. He keeps his legs inside him. I was thumbs up when we started because I was so excited, but then after playing with them, I had to give him a thumbs.
So unlike the Hulk Hogan that we opened up last time, so the excitement and the nostalgia of opening these almost 30-year-old toys.
The nostalgia is cool,
but
I was disappointed in what they can do.
I have to agree to a certain extent. Only because, to me, the Rockers were one of, if not my favorite, one of my favorite tag teams from the early days. And just looking at them, and then finally figuring out that his move is actually like a drop kick, sort of. As a kid, I thought I wanted them because it's the Rockers, you know. And I'd run around the house and put handkerchiefs around my wrists and stuff, and jump off my chair onto the bed, doing the double fist pound, you know. But just
you need that sound effect. The wah wah.
Like they could have done better. The design could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
Do you know that around the same time that the Rockers were made and released, was when they hired Ron Rudat, the same guy who designed most of the G.I. Joes.
Right.
So when they put him in, he redesigned Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Maybe that's why he came out much better.
Maybe so. If you know Brutus, the version 2, he's got a better body. Yeah. His legs aren't stuck together.
He's wearing white pants, right?
Yes, right.
With the zebra, pink underneath.
And he also redesigned the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah. So I think Ron Rudat, if you start looking at further toys, I can only think of a few that had this action.
Yeah.
Jimmy Snuka. Who else?
And Super Mosca.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
He had the little dragon outfit. I remember that.
Yeah. And after that, I can't think of any other figures that had that action. But before Ron Rudat became one of the designers, you had Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, the Ultimate Warrior. Oh, Jimmy Snuka actually came out during that series, so that counts as another guy. So it seemed like these designers were in love with having guys' legs go up inside them. You said it. I think I'm gonna have to edit that out. A thumbs up or thumbs down for the Rockers. So from the Wrestling Guy store in 6085 State Street, Huntington Park, California, from David, Captain Marvelous, and Hector El Chido Canales. Bye!
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 You ready?
It's been filming.
Oh, it's been filming.
I didn't know.
By the way, shout out to doing the Organ podcast producer Richard for figuring out Jake Snake's name when he was a face. Oh, Revelations. How does everybody know this except me? We were here for like a whole day trying to figure out what his name was. You guys keep playing it. I'm trying to set up my toys. Yeah, that thing flies. Let's see. The Rockers run music. All three of us, eh? Yeah, there you go. Now we got the whole crew. Lee, Marty, and Sean. I'm still Marty?